Hey everyone, welcome to Jojo's World.
Good morning. It's been a while.
It's
Not really.
not
but
for them,
No.
but for us,
For
been
us,
a
it's
couple of weeks.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
This is Jojo's World, our Jojo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast, where today I am pleased to announce we are recapping and discussing Jojo's Bizarre Adventure
Oh, we're back.
OVA.
We're in familiar territory. We're going to do it with no technical difficulties whatsoever. We're in the prime of our lives.
We're in the prime of our lives. I am Liam S. Smith, one of your co-hosts.
And I'm Nick Valentine, the other one of the co-hosts. That is some construction.
Lovely that the construction site has been quiet literally all morning and literally just started as we started the podcast.
Incredible.
Wonderful. Love it. Love not
Being able to destroy all construction.
Love
ever
them
made.
working on the weekend. Love it.
Right on a crisp weekend morning.
Crisp.
You know, it's really fucking cold outside. It's really cold. And what a day for construction to
Baby,
happen.
it's cold outside.
So what are we doing today?
Jojo.
Dio.
Jojo.
Dio.
Jojo.
Jojo.
We all remember that video. We all love it.
Oh, it's the best. You know who else is the best, Liam?
Who?
Our Patreons.
Whoa.
Who, by the way,
We have.
new ones.
Unprecedented.
I actually do not understand why people would give us money in this time.
In this economy.
In this economy, in this part of the country. I mean, this is ridiculous to
I
me.
do. It's because we're great and I'm very handsome.
So it's not even, we're great. The show, don't mention it, but I'm handsome. I deserve this.
Yeah, that's
You
why
know-
I thrive in an audio medium.
You know who else is really handsome?
I've got a real face for radio, they say. By which I mean it's so handsome that if you look at it, you'll be too distracted.
It's like an infinite jest, but with someone's face, where if you look at it once, you can't look
I
away.
don't know Infinite Jest.
Oh, it's like,
I just know it as a big, boring book no one reads.
wow, okay.
Famously, and we may have talked about this many years ago on the podcast,
Yeah.
but there was a running joke on the popular internet webcomic Dr. McNinja, where a character would sit down, pick up a copy of Infinite Jest, read it for a frame, and then in the last frame just go, "This is boring!" and throw the book away.
Well, you know who isn't boring, and I'm sure throws away more books than
Me.
you, is Jenny Fraser.
Jenny Fraser.
Or Jenny Fraser, I'm not sure. I don't know what the etiquette is on.
Tossed salad and scrambled eggs herself, Jenny Fraser.
She'll probably win an Emmy for her silent performance.
Certified mummy puncher, Jenny Fraser.
A mummy
Yeah,
puncher?
like The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser as himself.
Oh, I get it now.
Starring George of the Jungle as himself.
Of course.
I watched the Mummy movies for the first time paying full attention recently.
As in, like, the original Brendan Fraser
Well, when
mummies?
you say the original Mummy, you'd actually be referring to like the 1930s Hammer horror
What have
or
I
Universal
done?
horror.
What have I done?
But no, like yes, the Brendan Fraser,
The good ones.
the Mummy and the Mummy Returns,
The
and they are
classics.
good.
I know. For good reason.
Who knew? No one knew. I'm telling you all for the first time. The Mummy. It's good. Thank you, Jenny Fraser.
Jenny Fraser, you're pretty okay.
Jenny
Keep doing
Fraser.
what you're doing.
I would read from the book to bring you back from the dead.
I don't know if I would, because that didn't work out very well for most of the people in that movie.
It worked out pretty well for that one guy who got to live forever in a big tomb full of gold. He got shut in there. He's like, oh, yeah, this is working pretty well up for old Benny.
Yeah, but didn't he then come out and he was like, why have I been brought out of my tomb?
Oh, we're talking about different characters.
Oh, okay. Never
I'm talking
mind.
about the guy who gets trapped in the tomb at the end.
Oh, okay.
Not a good ending.
Have all the gold you want.
You like gold, hey? Eat all the gold in the world.
He's just there being like, well, this is great.
Nick.
Yes.
In 1993,
93.
they released a little anime called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This particular anime told the story of Jotaro Kujo, Joseph Joestar, Jean-Pierre Polnareff, Noriaki Kakuin.
Oh my, what?
That was always his name.
His name was Noriaki?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, yep, go on.
And famously, it was written with some characters that Araki read to himself a different way, like Tenmei or something like that. But then the other interpretation caught on, so it was like, I guess that's what it is now.
Okay, sure.
There's going to be a lot in this episode that we talked about when we first did Stardust Crusaders, but that was many years ago, so you'll forgive us for retreading old ground with fresh eyes.
Oh my god, it was many years ago.
Many years ago.
Holy shit,
I
Liam.
remember
You're leaning back in your chair.
it was 2016 or 15.
Oh,
And
God.
we started this podcast, and we were like, we're a fortnightly JoJo's Bizarre Adventure podcast. We're both at uni.
Yep.
We're just having a great time.
Yep.
I've watched up to the end of part 3, which was all the anime that had existed at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick, I wanted to share it with you, a guy who I saw like once every 6 months.
Yep. Yep.
We had a good conversation at a bar one day or something, and I was like, Nick would be a good podcast co-host.
Where I was just like, oh, I can ramble on about things.
Yeah.
Which was my greatest strength and my greatest weakness.
And then towards the end of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2, Battle Tendency,
Everyone mocked us.
I think we were going on uni break or something.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna power through the end of Part 2. Do weekly for a while. And then we never stopped.
We got through all of part 3 and everyone was like, you're never going to get there. This is stupid.
And famously, as we were going through part 3, a few people got in touch being like, I think you guys should do the double episodes both at a time. But no, then we'd run out of JoJo's that much sooner.
And literally every time we made an episode, everyone would just go, yeah, fortnightly's killing me, or weekly is killing me. Go faster, please. I need you to go through this content. And we were like, we'll put it on the back burner.
It's nice to be liked.
I don't know about that.
Hey, shout out to the quick shout out to YouTube user Yoshikage Kira, who for the last few weeks has been commenting on all of our YouTube automatic uploads of the podcast.
What?
Just the phrase, sever ties.
Okay.
Shout out Yoshikage Kira, serial killer and YouTube commenter.
Wow, what?
Do you remember when we encountered that phrase and it was a brief running joke on the podcast?
Vaguely, yeah.
Kira said it to himself like it was a joke that we would understand.
Yeah. But okay, hang on. Is this Yoshikage Kira face or the other guy's face?
I believe it's Yoshikage Kira face.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Not Kasaku Kawajiri.
Yeah. Interesting. Ugh.
Incidentally, as you know, I've been playing off and on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Eyes of Heaven on PlayStation 4.
As you do.
Still making my way through the plot slowly of that bad game, but I enjoy the Kira and Kira plot lines in that, in which two different Kiras, Kasaku Kawajiri Kira and regular Kira.
From the two different timelines.
Yep. Or from two different timelines. There are many timelines, I guess.
Oh.
Encounter each other and basically just become like best friends.
So you're really into like hand stuff?
They're not. I don't think they're explicitly working for like evil overlord Super Dio.
Yeah.
They're just kind of around and being occasional antagonists, but mostly just friends with each other.
They really like holding hands.
Shout out Yoshikage Kira.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, but I digress.
It was 1993.
They created the story of Jojo Senior, Polnareff, Noriaki Kakyoin, and Muhammad Avdol
Yep.
fighting Dio Brando. Or just Dio. Because I guess the Brando name died with Dio's own
Humanity.
mortality. Yeah.
Deep.
And by that I mean specifically, they just created a few fights leading up to it, but basically just the Dio fight.
Okay.
Then, in the year 2000, they release an additional 5 episodes or so, circling back to the start of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3, Stardust Crusaders.
Okay.
And that's what we watched the first of today.
Whoa,
7 episodes.
Hang on a minute. So you're telling me they basically made the Dio fight and then said, ooh, you know what? Maybe we should explain how this all started.
7 years later.
7 years later.
So I've got the info here, actually. The OVA was made with Studio APPP.
Yep, Studio App.
Quite an app name. With the first
Get out,
series
just
being
get out.
made in 1993 and the second series being made in 2000, the first series, episodes 8 through 13, covers the second half in which the cast are already in Egypt to find Dio. The second series, episodes 1 through 7, acts as a prequel to the first series, and this, I guess, is just the wiki editorializing, because it says, I've decided to include the entire series in canonical order, as this is also the way it is presented on most DVD sets.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So they made the start of the anime 7 years after they started making the anime.
OVA.
Sorry, the OVA.
Which, of course, means egg. And egg is
pretty okay.
Over.
Interesting. That feels like a hell of a fucking jump both in animation quality and audio design.
I suppose if if you're doing a 5-episode limited series on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you want to get the highlights in there, I guess.
I guess, but like...
You do the Dio fight,
Yeah.
just so people can see it.
Yeah, okay. And the bits before that with...
I think they did Darby.
Did they do Iggy?
Yes, I know they do Iggy.
How the fuck are they... Because, okay, so what really stood out to me is that the animation is very different and yet exactly the same.
Well, it's I'm assuming it's all hand-drawn, for one thing, because it's 2000.
Yep. And on top of that, it's probably not a whole lot of digital stuff embedded on top of that.
Totally.
It's older.
So I believe we were rewatching upscaled and restored editions per the DVDs that our listener sent us.
Nice.
Worth noting, though, that these may be the highest quality editions ever released because the series has not had a re-release since 2008 on account of controversy.
Controversy? Tell me more.
In May 2008, both Studio App and Shueisha halted shipments of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, manga and OVA at the time.
Whoa, okay.
And we've talked about this before, but after a complaint had been launched against them from, quote, Egyptian Islamic fundamentalists, after noticing a scene in the OVAs that had the villain Dio reading a book depicting pages from the Quran.
Ah, there you go.
And we've talked about that before, and I don't know how much of that is steeped in like 2000s post 9/11 Islamophobia.
Well, I mean, probably like the exact opposite, right?
Well, it depends how much of it was an overreaction or not.
Yeah, but still, goddamn, such controversy.
Even though the manga did not feature that specific scene, Shueisha had Araki redraw scenes that depicted characters fighting on top of and destroying mosques. Wait, what? Hang on. Even though the manga did not feature that specific scene, Shueisha had Araki redraw the scenes so that they were no longer fighting on top of and destroying mosques.
Yes,
I see. Ambiguous phrasing there.
I would love if it was like, look,
we're gonna show these fuckers we're not scared of them. Araki, have Jotaro punch a hole in a mosque.
You see this Quran?
Jesus
Boom!
Christ.
On fire. Thanks, After. That would be like the ultimate fuck you to all of the fans. Just being like, hey, you know how we're going to get shut down? What if we shut down
just
our own work?
Fuck you to one of the world's major religions. We'd be just like Netflix's Castlevania.
Oh, man. I'm pretty sure Castlevania says fuck you to all the major religions,
especially Christianity.
Oh, yeah.
Viz resumed publication a year later, with the 11th volume being distributed on April 7th, 2009, though distribution of the OVA has been permanently cancelled.
Interesting.
And now you know the rest of the story.
That's really
the story of
interesting.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Huh, how strange.
Also worth noting that Satoshi Kon worked on these OVAs as I think a scriptwriter and creative consultant.
Hey, Liam, who is Satoshi Kon exactly?
Oh, he's a Japanese film director. And manga artist.
Is he?
Screenwriter.
Please tell me he's not the Evangelion guy.
No, he's the Paprika guy, the Tokyo Godfathers guy, the Perfect Blue guy, Millennium Actress.
I know this guy.
Yeah.
I've seen Perfect Blue.
I've seen Paprika. It's like Inception, but more interesting.
It's like Inception, but animated.
And with like actually doing interesting things with dreams.
No, I know Perfect Blue was very cool.
Paranoia Agent.
I've heard Paranoia Agent is very good.
These are a lot of things that I've heard names of, but haven't really delved into.
He's very into questioning the reality of the medium that you're watching at the time.
Yeah, I believe Perfect Blue is like a thriller.
Yes.
Possibly.
Perfect Blue is about a lady who's like an idol or like a famous singer who thinks she's being stalked by this guy.
Right.
And then like towards the end of the film, it turns out that the guy has like much deeper issues. And she also has some issues or something. And basically just everything starts getting warped in how you're watching it. And it's just very weird and cool.
Perfect Blue announces its preoccupation with perception, identity, voyeurism, and performance, especially in relation to the female, right from its opening sequence. The perception of reality cannot be trusted, with the visual set up only to not be reality, especially as the psychodrama heights towards the climax.
What is performance and what is backstage? That is the question, Liam. That is the question. Yeah.
Though I haven't seen it, I was just wondering if it had any thematic or stylistic similarities to the work of Alfred Hitchcock, and this Wikipedia article seems to bear it out.
Oh yeah, it's very good. I would say it's a very good film. I can't remember much of it.
So they got some heavy hitters on this one.
Yeah. So they got Satoshi Kon. They got
Hirohiko Araki.
They got Hirohiko Araki. They even have music by Marco. What's his name? It starts with a D and then it has an apostrophe and then an A, but I can't remember the rest of it.
Okay. Was this legitimately a name you recognise, or are you just doing a bit?
No, it's the name that I recognise. It was like Marco
D'Ambrosia.
I don't know. They got him on from Marco Co.
Okay. Sure.
I've seen that name somewhere before and I have no idea where.
Tommy Tallarico.
Tommy Tallarico.
Never mind, someone gets that. So, let's talk a bit about this.
It's so different.
Today we watched the first episode, The Evil Spirit, which of course is a pretty rough parallel to the events of the manga and anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders.
Yep.
Story 1, The Evil Spirit.
Oh, I get it.
In which a young Jotaro Kujo refuses to leave his jail cell. So his mother calls his grandpa, who was like, Jotaro, you better leave that jail cell. My Egyptian friend will make you.
You better get out of that cell.
Keep going.
I don't know the rest of the words of that song.
There's something in there. Bow, out, bow, bow.
Thank you. I'm deeply appreciative of you finishing my joke.
Of course, that was a reference to
Trapdoor.
Yes, I'm assuming now obscure claymation children's cartoon.
What do you mean obscure?
In which a blue blob man named Burke lived in a castle way out in the haunted wastes where nobody goes, as the servant to a hideous beast that you never see that lives upstairs, and he lives in a room with like a weird spider creature and a talking skull and a horrible menagerie of creatures that just come out of a horrible trapdoor that's in the middle of the room.
And he never goes down it, except for one episode, I think.
Yeah, it goes down there once or twice.
And then we see it, and it's like, wow, this is a terrible place. I never want to go down this trapdoor ever again. And then you grow up, and you're like, well, this is delightful.
What does the trapdoor represent?
I think it represents the innate curiosity that ultimately will destroy us all.
I think the trapdoor also represents the shortcomings of trying to take irresponsible shortcuts. Because so often he'll be like, I don't want to throw away this food, I'll just chuck it down this trapdoor. And then like a big tentacle monster will come out.
Just wanting more food.
Yeah. Maybe
it's representative of the failings of our society in teaching.
Well, I think ultimately the trapdoor represents capitalism.
So, this anime, we begin...
This OVA.
Sorry, this OVA.
This egg.
This egg is pretty okay. Because it is an
JoJo's
OVA.
Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, it's JJBA.
JJBA OVA, okay. A-okay.
Here we go.
Kaioken. Kaioken? Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball
Akira
Z.
Toriyama, Dragon Quest XI.
Kalasmos, Bringer of Darkness. Bahamut, King of Dragons.
Nick,
Yes.
Couple of questions.
You have the look of, like, I can do this. I can bring this together.
Just me sizing up whether or not I want to take this diversion 22 minutes in before we've started the episode.
Yep, go on.
Just go Elysium.
Yes.
You played it recently.
I did. I finished it recently.
I never finished it.
Ooh. You said that you, quote unquote, finished at the perfect spot.
I arrived at what I felt like was the ideal ending for me. Which is in which after the big confrontation that everything builds towards, my sidekick and I sat together on our bed. I was wounded, so I was in bed and he was just like comforting me.
Yep.
And we just had a frank conversation like, solving crimes is hard. And that just feels like the perfect like encapsulation of the game's themes to me. So I was content to just leave it there.
Now see, my game, the companion Kim Kitsurugi, he got shot and got sent to the hospital. So I woke up to Kuno, who's the kid who throws
weird,
rocks.
like, chav drug addict.
Yeah, he's on speed the whole game. I wake up to him being like, hey, what you fucking doing? Why don't you go fucking with me and we're gonna solve this fucking case Kuno style, you fucking shit. Come on. And then you're all like, Kuno, you're not a fucking detective. He's like, fuck you, I am. I'm fucking Kuno. And it's like, okay, sure, I guess you're with me now. And then
you finish the game.
And then I finished the game. And yeah, some shit happens at the end that makes you go, oh, so that's who you are.
Ah.
And yeah, I played it very differently to you, though.
Yes,
So I think maybe, yeah, might have had a few different turns.
Yeah, I feel like we could maybe do a Patreon on that someday.
Yeah, no.
And also, I want to talk about it now. Not now, but another time.
I want to talk it now. No, I don't. What are you doing?
Well, you've started playing Death Stranding, so we do need to do a deep dive into that eventually.
Oh god, yes. And its inevitable failings and its triumphs.
Death Stranding, a video game that has only become more relevant after its release.
You have to understand, when I started playing it, we're well into like COVID-19, and it is weird now.
Weirdly prescient.
It's really
prescient
weird.
in the same way that Metal Gear Solid 2 was weirdly prescient.
Indeed. Hideo Kojima, a strange
Possible
kind of genius.
wizard?
I think he may have just developed some kind of virus. First, it was a digital one to create memes. Now
The
it's
DNA of the soul.
exactly, and now it's a real one.
So weird that one of like the primary medium of purveying bullshit in this day and age, of course the term meme, was spun off from a concept created by or popularized by Richard Dawkins.
Yes. Wait, was it popularized by Richard Dawkins?
Yeah.
Oh, well, shit. There you go.
Nick, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure 2000.
Tell
The
me
Evil
more.
Spirit.
It's the year 2000. We're sitting in a room watching an OVA about a manga that's set in the year 1990.
We plug it into it. No, 1988. Crucially, 1988, because we know it's 100 years after 1888, where the events of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1, The Phantom Blood, take place. And of course, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2, Battle Tendency, is 50 years after that.
In 1938.
Yes.
Correct.
We know the timeline.
Boom.
Don't at me.
Some guy is specifically going to be like, that's not the
Technically
timeline.
speaking, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure begins in the distant past because there's a prologue with an ancient Aztec ritual.
Not in this OVA. Technically, we start at the fucking Dio fight.
Yeah, and wait, which Dio fight do you mean? Because technically, the episode we watched today starts with a dream/flashback to the events of the unnamed ship that sinks,
Tell me more.
destroying the life of Jonathan Joestar.
A dark ship emerges on the horizon.
So, yeah, we're looking at, like, underwater James Cameron shots of a shipwreck.
Avatar 3. It's the past now.
Yeah, Avatar 3, I think, is the one where they plan to go under the oceans of Pandora.
And find the Titanic. And have an interview with one of the blue ladies. With a vampire. Tom Cruise is in it.
Okay, so here's my pitch for Eiffel 65's big comeback.
Oh god, here we go.
3-picture deal. Doing promotion. You know, remember back in like 2002?
Okay.
It was really popular to have a music video for the song that featured in a movie.
Understand, I don't know what Idol 65 is.
Eiffel 65, the Eurobeat band that did the song I'm Blue.
Oh! I'm blue, abba-dee, abba-die, abba-dee, abba-die, abba-dee, abba-die.
Close enough.
That everyone thought was, if I was blue, I would die, or, hey, look, I'm a guy, or any other variant.
Never heard any of those variants.
Yep.
I lost my train of thought.
So, music video tie into movie.
Yeah, you remember how like the Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, had whichever song was like the big song for that movie. The music video for it just had like
shit tons of
Spider-Man footage.
It's like how
we do
Venom.
that with Eiffel 65 and the next 3 Avatar sequels.
And it's just I'm blue.
Well, it's whatever they want.
I'm blue, lo-fi remix.
Get a bunch of Na'vi up in there. Get Na'vi versions of the Eiffel 65 members. Their avatars, if you will.
Oh, I get it. And then they're the bad guys all along.
Wait, what?
You know how the point of that film is like, we're colonizing and these goddamn tribal fucking simps.
I thought you
are just
simping the big heart tree.
Yeah, exactly. And they're all like, you can't take the tree. We want to come down and progress. And then it turns out
these friggin' blue-white knights.
And now we're the bad guys.
I thought you meant that the twist was going to turn out that, yes, in fact, actually the Na'vi are the bad guys.
Yeah, so it turns
out...
The
corporation was good, because we're run by Disney now.
See, we're uplifting them. That's the key.
So there's this flashback/dream.
Yeah.
We see a lecture on the mechanics of steam engines. We see, in surprisingly explicit detail, the disembodied head of Dio
Dio.
Brando sticking its big, gross vein tentacles into the neck of Jonathan Joestar, who counters with a strike from a shard of metal he pulled from his own back.
It's interesting because it's so different in how it's all
In
stylized.
different design and lighting.
Yeah. And it's a lot more... It's more like a painting than, like, when you look at an anime and you see, like, something drawn out and you're
look
like,
at
oh,
that,
it's like
look
a
at
shot
that.
in motion. But this is, like,
big
all
profile
still.
shot of dying Jonathan desperately from hell's heart stabbing at Dio
Yeah, so
as fire engulfs the background.
It's like a Renaissance painting,
It's really not, but...
Where it's not like in motion, it's like a still,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I think there's a lot of use of stills in this for budgetary reasons.
Yeah.
And then we are in a darkened prison, and the man that we know is Jotaro Kujo is like, oh, I had that dream again. And we see a lot of the classic shots of like boomboxes and magazines that he has in his cell. Did they never really address? So I recall explicitly in the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders anime, they specifically talk about like, his evil spirit has been bringing me nice shit.
Yeah.
They never really address that in this. It's just like,
yeah, they
Jotaro
do.
Kujo, he's in the cell. For some reason, his cell has a bunch of boomboxes
Personal
and
items.
shit.
Yeah.
But Jotaro never talks about how it's been bringing him things.
I thought he did in this one.
I don't think so.
Well, we're going to find out as we continue moving through your photo album of this episode.
Unless I don't have a photo of it.
Uh-oh. I think they might have addressed it very briefly.
I missed it.
I don't know.
So, yeah, the police are walking through and they're like, Jotaro Kujo, father of Japanese jazz musician. He's got like just 3 stooges in the...
Wait, jazz musician?
Yeah, we knew this.
Oh, okay.
He's on tour.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's why he's never home.
His father, Iori from King of Fighters.
Oh, no.
That tracks, right? Not timeline-wise, but personality-wise.
I guess? Does he just come home and he's all like, Jotaro, I see you've gotten more powerful. Dark energy looms from his weird emo...
Yeah.
What do they call it?
Fringe?
The fringe. Or like comb-over thing.
Fringe.
Yeah, mad fringe.
Everyone's... We know what happens. We've talked to... For a general rundown of the events of this episode, listen to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, JoJo's World, Stardust Crusaders, Episode 1, The Evil Spirit.
This one, though, there's some dudes being like, hey, there's a guy
Let us out,
there.
you've got to let us out, we're so scared of Jotaro Kujo.
And the guards are like, well, this is weird.
They were just local punks, but he sent 8 of them to the hospital.
What could make a man so powerful and yet so edgy?
Hey, help me, he's possessed by the devil, help me. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Adventure 1.
Title card.
Now we're at the airport. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I really like their design, their take on the Joseph Joestar design, where he's got, of course we know, we're going to call it classic anime, because that's it's the one we've already done.
That's really, call it the modern anime.
Okay, the modern anime, he's a silver fox. Grey, bristly stubble.
What a guy.
Yeah. In this, he's just a blonde,
grizzled,
he's
hunk of meat.
really...
He reminds me of a 60s musician, you know? You know when you see those photos of old musicians? Those like old like 60s photos of guys with like beards for days, sideburns for days, and they're like wearing like kind of low-cut shirts, and then they're all posing behind their instrument being all like, yeah, I'm a guy, but they're just loose, limber, kind of tight clothing, and they're just ready to go for it.
Ready to go for it is definitely the phrase I would use to describe him.
Yeah.
Because I you know, obviously modern Joseph Joestar is still a 6'5" hunk of meat.
Indeed.
But I feel like to contrast with Jotaro, he feels a bit more diminished in that. Whereas this Joseph, he still feels very much like he is ready for a world of adventure.
Yeah. He's old. He's clearly older than most, but he looks more like he's 30 or 40 rather than...
Which, of course, is in line with the lore of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because his hamon training, the breath technique, would allow him to slow his aging.
Of course. Gonna make part 4 really weird, though, if he's still blonde at that point. So, I think he's at the airport.
Yeah, and we're just hearing... We're seeing a montage of his travel, him and Avdol's travel, and we're hearing, for budgetary reasons, an off-screen phone call between him and Holly.
And she's all like, Papa, the Jotaro, he refuses to come out of his cell. For some reason, Joseph does like a snap of his fingers and Avdol...
Yeah, I mean, that's in the manga, that's in the anime.
Yeah.
Just his weird click commands to Avdol. Like, no one's there. No one's paying attention. You can talk to him, Joseph.
But he's on the phone. He's not. He's not at all.
He's not.
Uh,
I suppose in the anime, Holly met him at the airport,
I don't remember, but sure.
whereas here she's waiting for him
At the prison.
at the prison.
So-
Or the jail, I suppose.
So Holly looks far more 90s than
Definitely.
she did. Or like, she looks more suited to the era, I guess, would be the right word.
She looks like more of a professional.
Yeah.
Like, modern anime Holly is very much like a dedicated housekeeper mother type to me, whereas Over,
Over.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right.
Over Holly, she's wearing like what seems like 2 shades away from me to an 80s power suit.
Yep.
Like it's got these very pronounced shoulders, this like ruff on the neck.
Mm-hmm. What is that after the thank you? What is that?
It's
Is
a
that like
button.
a button?
Like,
A very large button.
sartorially speaking, that's what we call a button.
Do elaborate, please.
Well, you see, when you want to wear some clothing, sometimes you need something to fasten loose strips of fabric together so that they both cover your body and don't flap about.
I see.
And a sort of hard disc, sometimes metal, sometimes plastic, can be slipped through a purpose-made hole in the other slip of fabric, allowing them to be attached.
Attached, you say?
Yeah.
As in to fasten.
Fasten tight.
Oh, I see. As if to restrict the motion of the fabric.
Precisely, my friend.
What is this incredible technology called again?
Button.
My God.
You might know it as something on a video game controller.
Oh, I get it
Which
now.
fastens the action of your body to the body of the digital character that represents you in the digital world.
If this is the simulation, I'm holding up my hand right now in a vertical form.
Okay.
If this is the simulation,
As if he were about to do a karate chop.
this is the gap.
A karate
Right.
chop.
We're going from here to here. This is my other hand further
Nick's
away.
holding his other hand up about 30 centimeters from his first hand.
This is your action. When you fasten the button, they come together.
Nick placed his hands together. I
And-
didn't understand any of that.
And just like world peace, it all comes together.
Just like world peace, we achieved it.
Ooh! Hang on a minute.
You're going home for sure today, Cujo.
So they've got these two cops
Yep.
that are like,
There's
he's
a
in
tall
cell.
one and a small one.
Yep. Joseph is there being like, we need to get him out of that cell.
I didn't understand why we got a brief shot of a police uniform hanging on the wall with the badge number 666.
I don't think it's a police uniform.
I thought it was.
I think
what
it's
else would it be?
a baseball jacket or some kind of sports jacket.
In the cell.
Yes.
Right.
In the cell. That's why it's 666
Because
it's evil
baseball.
spirit. Yeah, it's evil spirit.
Nick, are you participating in the cultural event that is Blase Ball?
No.
Or Blaze Ball?
What is Blaz Ball?
Blaz Blue. This is an online, I suppose you'd call it fantasy baseball league,
Let's not call it that, but yes.
in which the players are never allowed to stop playing.
Okay. What?
Regularly, a rogue umpire will incinerate a player, removing them from the league.
Okay.
Weather patterns include solar eclipse,
Just to understand.
many birds,
Okay.
and peanuts.
Just to understand, where are the statistics coming from for this fantasy league?
I'm not 100% clear. But you place bets, you win money, you use that money to enhance your betting capabilities or vote on boons that can be awarded to your selected team.
Okay. But again, where does it come from?
It's just run by a computer, I assume.
Huh.
A certain important event happened in Blase Ball,
Okay.
or Blaze Ball,
Uh-huh.
in which, through these elections that I mentioned, the voting mechanic,
Yep. The democratic system that we all love.
the community elected to open the Forbidden Book.
You can't do that.
The umpire's eyes all went white. Players were incinerated. And the discipline era began.
What? Okay.
Blazeball, I recommend it.
What is this like on a forum or something?
You just go to blazeball.com, Blazeball,
What? Okay. Is it Blaze Ball?
BLA. It's baseball with an extra L in there.
And baseball with an extra N.
L.
L.
Blazeball.
BLL.
No, baseball with an extra L.
BLASEBAL.
Yeah, L.
Yeah, L. One singular L.
Teams include the like I don't know what US city is. The,
Oh,
like,
chutney.
Charleston Shoe Thieves, the Hades Tigers.
Okay.
Oh, whichever town used to have the team the Sunbeams was swallowed up by a Hellmouth when the Discipline era began, so now they're the Hellmouth Sunbeams.
What the fuck? Okay, sure. This is insane.
New York Millennials,
Of course.
Hawaii Fridays.
Yep. I'm going to look at this later
Check
and
it
just be
out.
like, I'm in.
It's good fun.
Yeah. It's like Salty Bet, but with baseball.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Sick.
Games take half an hour, give or take for overtime.
Oh.
Half an hour later,
sweet.
the next game begins.
Nice. Excellent. That's dope.
Every team is playing a game all the time.
Sweet. How are they allowed to...
No resting.
Oh.
Discipline era.
Oh, no.
The only escape is incineration.
Wow. That's dark. But, you know, it's for my entertainment, so it's okay.
Yeah, also they're not real.
Oh, well, that's a little less cool. But whatever. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. Or is it?
Anyway, so I highly recommend our listeners participate in the cultural event of baseball.
The cultural linchpin of our society, Blase Ball. So,
Joseph Joestar is there.
and he's all like, I need to get him out of that cell. I need to get that Jotaro Kujo out of that goddamn cell.
I'll never get out of the cell, old man. I liked their take on the iconic shot that we all remember from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure of their two shoes either side of the cell bars. Just a good one.
It's good. And then their faces are like right up on each other.
Get out of the cell, make me.
So, Joseph snaps his fingers.
I want to talk a bit about Jotaro's design.
Well, that's a shame. No, it's so weird how
It's the same but different.
It's the same but different. It's like all of the things are there. They're exactly the same as the Mon
chain.
anime.
Well, not exactly the same. For instance, the badge on his hat and the highlights on his hat are purple.
Yeah, but at the same
Also,
time, it's all
the thing that's so
same.
surprising to me is how of course we all know and love Jotaro's hat, the way it merges seamlessly into his hair.
Yes.
The way the back of his hair is so aggressively mullety.
Yeah, he looks like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got that rebellious edge. Everything is like, it's got slightly more purple to it in general, I guess.
Also, there was one scene later. I think I only noticed it in this scene, and I hope it's only in this scene because it was driving me nuts.
Yeah.
But there was like the only scene where we see him walk somewhere when he's at home later on.
Yeah.
Just the sound of his chain jingling was ever present.
Now, I think that's going to happen every time he walks because every
clink, clink.
every time he's walked, that chain has jingled.
Ah, the sound of my chain. It clinks. It reminds me of when I was in the clink, learning about my evil spirit.
I get it. It's so good,
Keeps
though.
me humble.
You know, the sound design is by a guy from Lucasfilm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's why they had to have the chain so
Clink,
loud.
clink. Anyway, Jotaro shoots himself in the head with the cop's gun.
Yep, he steals the gun using Star Platinum, and then he's all like, let me show you the power of my evil spirit.
And he catches the bullet, and everyone's like, the bullet stopped in midair. And Holly's like, I saw the hand. You can see it, Holly? Are you experiencing strange sensations?
No.
I'll explain later. Avdol, get him out of the cell. By the way, Dad, or Granddad, took your finger.
And then
Jotaro,
Joseph's all like, he took my artificial
he looks
finger.
down at he looks down at his artificial hand. My glove is ruined. He wasn't wearing a glove in the other anime.
Wasn't he?
That I recall.
Oh, he just walked in with a prosthetic hand.
I think so.
Oh,
Could be mistaken.
would be kinda
I think he
funny.
mostly just had the prosthetic hand out.
oh, there you go.
Anyway, my glove.
My
Do you know how much
precious
this fucking glove cost me?
It's from Italy, you fucker.
They don't make them anymore. The glove maker's dead.
And then Jotaro just looks at him like, I know, I killed him.
In World War II.
What? You weren't even born. That's what you think, old man.
So I love this line. Joseph is looking shocked at his prosthetic pinky being taken. He managed to make a fool out of me. This OVA as a standalone unit. If you haven't read the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure manga, you don't know who this old man is.
Yeah.
You don't know. Like, he's got presence, but you don't know that he's a trickster god.
He's just like, he made a fool out of me, an old man.
The proud, sensible Joseph Joestar.
Who has, the only thing that's happened to me so far has been proven wrong on one occasion, and now my finger's been stolen. He made a fool of me.
This is my friend Avdol. Avdol, get him out of there.
I can't promise I won't hurt him, Master Joseph.
Avdol very soft spoken in these vocals. Did you notice?
All the voice acting is very kind of like, there's no one with a very, very, very deep voice.
No.
That's like booming.
No, I was to be honest, maybe he'll pick up a bit when we see him fight Jotaro, but to me, I was left a bit lacking by this version of Dio.
Dio?
Dio.
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 Jojo.
And obviously he was just hanging around in his bedroom, drinking some women, but
He sounded like an
he
average.
was very soft-spoken.
Yeah, sounded like an average antagonist. It's like, oh, do you want to fight me? That's a shame. It's like, okay,
I'm not really in the mood.
but where's your extravagance?
What also really struck me about, as we're about to see our first stand in all its glory, Magician's Red, how much they lean into their ethereal nature or their intangibility. Like, they're all semi-transparent, and obviously the whole artistic design in this OVA, the colours are a lot more muted compared to the anime.
Modern anime.
Yeah, which is a stylistic choice.
Yeah. It's very cool, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's good in its own right. Personally, I prefer the sort of bombastic, fabulous colours of the JoJo anime, but
As you would.
But as I say, good in its own right.
This is a very 90s take on it.
Absolutely,
You know?
Coloration very much reminds me of that ubiquitous anime reference from our childhoods, Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040.
Of course, yes.
That same sort of 90s punk edge to it all.
Yeah, where you just look at it and you're like, ooh, it's so edgy for no good reason.
So Magician's Red, he's there. He's a big birdman. He's, if anything, buffer in this.
I think everyone, it does feel like he is a lot more buff. Like he has a 12-pack.
Yes. Also, his, I suppose, different stylistic take again too. Red skin.
Well.
Just interesting. I don't want to spend this whole thing just being like, oh, that's not how they did it in the
That's not how
anime.
they fucking
But
did
it's
it.
interesting to see
Such a different take
approaches
to
by
the
different
same thing.
teams.
Yeah. It's like when I talk about Disco Elysium, and it's such a different take on how you would talk about Disco Elysium because I approached the game so differently to how you approached it.
Oh.
Yeah. Or how when I drew my signature hentai, the
Made
man,
a very concerned face.
the man with the red tie,
The man with the golden gun.
and you tried to draw it, and you just flat out refused because you don't want any part of
I
that.
don't want to engage in this.
And I said, well, it's your loss. And we had two very different approaches to it. It's like that.
And that never happened. Star Platinum in all his glory looks pretty cool.
He emerges with fucking neon.
Yeah, and like pulsing guitar.
He has like a coat vest.
I heard Star Platinum's pretty cool. I heard he has an 8-pack.
He has like so much more shine to him.
He's got flowing anime hair, flowing upwards.
Flowing up.
Yep.
He still has that like sort of Aztec look to him.
Big shoulder pads.
But now he has more of clothing, I guess.
More of clothing. Yep.
More of clothing to him. And
Despite being semi-transparent.
Yeah. Reaches out, starts choking Magician's Red.
Yep, through the bars. Abdul's like, oh, he's pretty intense. I better use my full force.
We see, like, in very detailed, I don't know what the word is, in a lot of detail. That's
very
the word.
detailed detail.
In very detailed detail, we see, like, his neck sort of getting crushed a bit.
Yeah.
And, like, going inwards. And he's like, ooh.
Abdul's neck, that is.
Well, you've only seen 10% of my true power.
Time for me to have a long transformation sequence.
So, I think Holly is like, oh no.
Yeah.
Jojo.
Lots of fire, red bind. I love the shot of all the comic books and boombox burning away.
Yep. Fucking rad.
And
all the mooks are just like, oh my god, get us out of the cell.
So hot, we can't see any of the fire, but so hot.
Why is everything on fire?
If you weaken, the evil spirit will weaken too because your life force. We call it a stand.
And Jotaro is like flung against the wall.
Jotaro, flung against the wall, does his classic toilet kick maneuver.
Slams that water out.
Gets covered in his favourite pastime, toilet water.
Oh.
Love to take a big bath in stinky toilet water.
Gotta love
in
it.
prison.
Oh, beautiful. He then runs up to the cell.
Oh man,
We get a good shot of Star Platinum here.
What I loved is the shot of Star Platinum bending the bars from ordinary person's perspective.
Oh, how it's all
just
see-through and...
a man-made wave of force attacking the bars. Sorry, man-shaped wave of force.
It's literally just like big mane on what looks like a soldier from ancient times ripping apart the bars.
What are you talking about?
He's got like the big mane.
Okay,
it
but
looks like
this
a
is
helmet.
just a silhouette. It's just like a silhouette.
Yeah, it's like a silhouette.
A shadow bending the bars. They're bending themselves.
So good. There's a lot of eye shots of just like, whoa.
Whoa, he's coming at me. But I realise he has left the cell. Gonna go sit down.
Jojo's all like, why'd you turn around?
I could burn those metal bars with my eyes closed.
And Jojo's all like, yeah, well, fuck.
I guess you've tricked me, Avdol. Oh, don't sell yourself short. You really had me going for a second there.
And then we get a close-up of Jotaro, who looks very intimidating.
They're all just being very serious.
Close-up of Avdol, who looks very intimidating.
Close-up of Joseph Joestar's blue jeans,
God.
which just set me off into a giggle fit when we were watching it.
I was like laughing.
He's wearing like his big trench coat, his black like tight tee with his teal amulet, and then
he's
just
got the face of a murderer.
and then just blue jeans.
It was really funny because we were like, I was laughing because they were like, yeah, well, I would have done
they were both
this.
being like pretty good. Oh yeah, well I'm pretty good.
Yeah, well, I would have just done this.
And I'm just laughing at jeans.
And you were like, they're blue. Lol.
So they're so bright compared to everything else too.
Oh man.
Let's go home. Then they do go home. Now, we know that the Kujos live in an opulent Japanese mansion.
Because he's a jazz musician.
But this version
is huge.
So opulent. They've got like a big swamp in their backyard.
It's not a swamp, it's a koi pond.
And then behind it,
a forest.
Yeah. Just a full fucking forest.
They have like a little sand zen garden.
Yep.
They've got what's the name of the thing?
The thing
bamboo.
that goes doink.
Yeah, the thing that goes doink.
I think it's a deer scare.
A deer scare?
Because it's to scare deers away.
Is it?
I guess so.
Oh. It's not a timekeeping device?
I think it's a deer scaring device.
Weird how you'd have that behind fences.
Well, you don't want a deer to get into your koi pond.
That's
it's
true.
Fuck up the whole feng shui of the situation.
Come on, the koi are going to get eaten, the deer are going to get sick. It's just,
The koi are going to eat the deer.
They just start
going to grow antlers, then you've got to deal with that.
They're worse than piranhas.
So this is interesting to me.
They're doing the scene, not in the airport.
Not in the cafe.
Yeah, but they're doing it
at home. And I think I like that more.
Mm.
All we lose from it is the dumb joke that is called back to like 6 months from now, where a guy is like, is anything wrong? And afterwards like, everything is fine, go away. And then a cafe in Egypt, the same thing happens.
Yeah, they're basically at home just doing that scene.
They're at home in the room where they keep the Kujo ancestral samurai armor.
Yeah, because it's a jazz musician.
You know.
Come on. My God, Liam, it's like you've never been a jazz musician before. And they're just discussing, well, we are actually on a mission to hunt down this guy.
Yeah.
Check the nape of your neck.
He came out from the ship 4 years ago. They opened the coffin with very unsafe blowtorch procedures, as you pointed out.
So I need to just point this out. They turn on a blowtorch by having like a cigarette lighter, like a Zippo lighter.
Just held open flat in the palm of his hand.
And then he's just putting it in front of the blowtorch. Mm-hmm. And then when it goes off, he's already removed his hand, but then it goes off. Yeah. It's like, how does that work?
Very safe.
It's just, it would just burn anyway.
But when they opened the coffin, it was empty. And I'm not really sure what that means.
I swear there was someone or something inside.
Is that, like, I don't think this is how it happened in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the manga, but is that meant to be, like, it can't have been how it happened in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the manga, but is that meant to be foreshadowing, like, the time ability? Like, they opened it up and then he's, within the context of this OVA, he stopped the time and, like, went and hid?
Maybe, because otherwise he would have just come out of the water and just swam his way away.
And then shut the coffin behind him. And locked it from the inside.
Yeah. I don't know. Possibly. That's a good point.
Unclear.
Yeah.
So we're still looking for him. He's Dio. We all got these Joestar birthmarks. They're red in this version.
They're not purple, which makes more sense.
You're telling me that a man from 100 years ago is still alive?
No, I'm not telling you. I'm declaring it to you.
Quick shot of Jotaro's bare feet for you wiki feet enthusiasts out there.
Have a look. Oh, yeah. Yeah, all right. They're good nubs. Sure. I'll count them. Holly is now in classic 80s garb.
80s or 90s?
Ooh.
Unclear.
Well, it has to be 80s, right?
Well, it depends if they're taking stylistic cues from when it's set or when it was...
Oh, that makes sense.
Made. Of course, 2000 was technically still part of the 90s decade because, as any annoying pedant will tell you, the decade doesn't end until the year ending in 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Fucking pedants. So she's got like a denim overall kind of vibe happening here.
Or maybe it's an apron. Unclear.
Oh, an apron.
Anyway, let's smash up this camera.
Yeah, so Holly puts like
a Polaroid.
A Polaroid camera on...
Oh, a Polaroid SX70 land camera.
Ah. She just puts it on the table, and then Joseph is like, anyway, time to fuck it up with the face of a goddamn madman.
And I love... Okay.
This is amazing.
This is maybe the highlight of the episode. The way that they do the spirit photography thing in this, where he does the classic smash his hand into the...
karate chop the Polaroid camera. Yep.
And then the photo whips out like someone throwing a playing card over to Jotaro's head, and he catches it.
Right before. It's like in any Yu-Gi-Oh setting where they throw a card, travels perfectly straight, and then just catch it into between two fingers.
Yeah. And they talk and he doesn't look at it for a while because it's got to develop.
Exactly. And it's in the sunlight, so it won't develop very well.
They all talk about their birthmarks. And look now at the photo and you can see the body of Jonathan Joestar from the neck down, but from the head up. That vile antagonist Dio.
He has that birthmark.
I can't remember if we talked about this, but crucially in the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5 opening sequence to Traitor's Requiem, the start of it when they're foreshadowing Gold Experience Requiem, Giorno Giovanna is in this Dio pose. That's fun.
That is fun.
Yeah, and there was a thing they were gonna do but didn't end up doing, where they had Gold Experience and then later Gold Experience Requiem in that same pose.
Thus showing off more of his Dio ancestry.
I guess.
Which is the same ancestry in the same pose.
Sure. 2 for 1.
There you go. Sick.
I can only ever take photos of this guy.
Jotaro ominously checks his birthmark again, being all like, ooh.
Dio's like, I feel like someone's watching me. Anyway, gonna drink this woman with my fingers.
So it's highly sexual.
Yep. Man.
A lot of moaning, then followed by, oh.
I know I talk about this a lot, but I never get over the creepiness of the finger drinking.
You don't get to say that sentence enough in this day and age.
It just really sticking your fingers in someone's neck.
And this is way more graphic than the modern anime as well.
Say what you will about someone biting someone's neck, but at least most of the actual
stuff that you see is
the gross
behind
stuff
the lips.
is hidden behind the lips. Yeah.
In this, it's like, let me finger it.
Yeah. So he drinks her up, drops her down, and then there's 3 other naked women on his stairs that he walks by. Guess he was a thirsty boy.
Anime breastises. Yeah. Actually see the neep.
Okay, sure.
There you go. Then we return back to the Kujo mansion.
Yeah, we've all got ESP.
We're just brushing over this very quickly because it's the first episode. Gonna have a look at Dio again.
But wait. Okay, and this is a scene that, I don't know if you recall, Nick, but they're about to draw the fly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you recall, but this takes place in the manga and anime after they meet Kakyoin.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, I did not remember that.
Yeah.
I thought it happened before.
It does not. Oh. Because if you recall, in this one, they're like, we've got this drawing of this fly now. We've got to send it off to the Speedwagon Foundation. If it were me, probably would have cut the Speedwagon Foundation if we were trying to keep it self-contained and brief.
But that's not how this works.
We're going to send this photo off to the Speedwagon Foundation to analyze the fly. In the anime, Avdol just recognizes it and is like, oh yeah, do you guys have a library? Oh yeah, we've got an extensive library because we're very wealthy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go look at the encyclopedia of flies you have.
See, I remember that, but I don't remember Kakyoin being there already.
Well, because he may be unconscious at the time, but it's after they've debudded him.
Right.
And then he's like, wow, Egypt, I sure do want to fuck your mum.
Oh, man. If there was anyone that I would love, it would be Kakyoin.
It would be her, Mr. Frodo. It would be her.
Tell me, Sam, do you enjoy my mother?
Some more Jotaro feet pics as he walks outside, and that's where I notice his chain clinking a lot.
I actually fucking love the chain clink. I love it a lot. Oh, we also do get a very good shot of his whole body, where you can see all the differences between modern anime and this one, where he really does look like a 27-year-old. Like, he looks way older than 17.
I mean, we had that same convo.
Oh, yeah.
All throughout parts 1 through 3 of JoJo's.
But this is like, he looks like a grizzled motherfucker.
He's seen some things.
He really has. It's interesting. It's a lot sharper, I guess, than modern anime, where that's got a lot more bold lines and stuff. Very strange just seeing this different art direction.
Meanwhile, a mysterious woman is doing a tarot reading. She's using that classic formation that I can't remember the name of, where you arrange them in a cross.
Yep. I believe it's called the tarot cross.
Well, I really think you're wrong.
So do I.
Ah, yes, the hermit. And which represents, as we all, she explains, of course, we all remember from our landmark segment, Tarot Time.
Tarot time!
That's the sting, you'll
That's
remember
the
it.
one. Oh boy.
That the Hermit represents wisdom, wariness, and esotericism.
Ah.
And the Magician, which represents the questioner and diplomacy. And of course, these are those trademark Hirohiko Araki tarot card designs, which
are
all say
weird.
Lucky Land somewhere on them. And now, yes, by the way, just a brief shot of
Her thigh.
and her chest,
Her breastises.
indicating that I might not be Enya like we expected, but maybe in this version, Enya's a beautiful woman.
Some super sexy seductress who will suck away our life essence.
The star, Hope, Jotaro. Ooh. And that's the end of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Episode 1, Evil Spirit.
I'm getting fucking keen. I'm getting real keen.
All right, Nick.
Yeah?
So,
Yes.
Jotaro Kujo has reunited with his grandfather, Joseph Joestar, and friend Muhammad Avdol.
Yes.
A mysterious man named Dio lurks somewhere in the world.
Is he working in collusion with the sexy tarot reading lady?
Sexy fortune teller.
Ooh.
What will happen next time on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
No, this is legit because it's not going to be in the same order.
In the episode entitled Hierophant Green.
I wonder. Okay, well, obviously Kakyoin's going to show up.
Yep.
But the question is it going to be the same intro where he's painting?
Oh, and he does the ability that he never uses again.
Exactly.
Where he swipes the painting and a gash appears on Jotaro's leg, tripping him down the stairs.
Yeah, but that never happens again.
I'm curious as to whether they will keep the couple of scenes of just like schoolgirls fawning over Jotaro. That feels like
God.
something this dark and edgy imagining would cut.
I don't know if it would. I think there might be there's probably going to be some people watching and they're all going to be, oh, there goes Jotaro Kujo. Oh God, he's so, but it'll be a lot more, not tame, but a lot less frivolous, you know?
So I guess the thing, okay, here's my guess.
Okay.
We know that the Speedwagon Foundation is off analysing the fly picture. So Avdol and Joseph are just going to be hanging around for a bit.
Yep.
And they're going to be like, Jotaro, you need to come with us. It's our destiny to fight Dio. And he'll be like, no, I'm just going to go to school for a while.
I mean, probably.
Fight Kakyoin. And then they'll keep asking him to come fight. And he'll keep saying no. Then Holly gets sick. And he's like, no, I have to go fight.
Oh, yeah, because Holly gets sick.
Yeah.
True. I got to do it for my mum.
I will say, it doesn't feel like they've laid the seeds as well for Jotaro being a sweet boy.
How so?
Well, of course, in the anime, there were all those flashbacks that Holly had of Jotaro through the ages being like a handsome boy and then an increasingly surly teen.
True. I mean, in this one, we did get him also being like, you brought my fucking mum into this and this old man is here now. What the hell? You have to make my mum do this? What the hell?
Oh, I did like how they said, because and this isn't something that I recall the manga addressing, that his mum has been visiting him in prison every day.
Yes.
That's nice.
It's kind of ridiculous,
Yeah.
but yep.
I buy it from Holly.
Yep. Okay, well, we're not going to get Polnareff yet.
No.
No.
We know, we've talked about this before, we know that in this one, they cut out Singapore and Polnareff shows up in the episode with strength.
Okay, so maybe they might have Holly getting sick in this one.
Yep.
And Kakyoin coming in, but maybe when they're leaving, Kakyoin shows up as the first antagonist, rather than meet Kakyoin, Holly gets sick, then
I'm
we're all together.
Kakyoin, I'm here to stop you. Or pluck. Alright, I'll help.
Oh, thanks for that.
Can you guys carry me a little while? Because I just got beat up a lot.
Maybe they're just like, this poor soul. We better bring him along.
Carry it for a while. Share the load.
Get away from me.
Get away from my flesh bud.
Yeah, so there's no Polnareff. And then probably episode 3 we'll get to strength. But then what will we see of everyone else? When will we see Polnareff show up? I want to know. I want to know when we'll see other dudes. I want to know exactly which dudes have not been cut as well.
Okay, yeah, I'm guessing. I'm guessing we'll get...
Yellow Temperance.
I wasn't going to guess Yellow Temperance, actually.
Ooh, okay. Because he's in Singapore?
No, he's not.
Shit.
Because...
Who am I thinking of? Am I thinking Puppet Master dude who was in Singapore?
I don't think either of them were in Singapore, were they? Because doesn't that happen after Strength?
Yes, you're right. Correct.
And they go to Singapore, fight Polnareff, and then leave and get on the boat. Tower of Deep Blue Moon and Strength go to
maybe they try
wherever
to-
that was, and then at around the same time is Ebony Devil and Yellow Temperance.
So when do they take the plane?
First,
Oh.
Tower of Grey.
Oh, never mind. Maybe.
So I reckon we'll get Kakyoin next step, Tower of Grey, then combined Strength and Polnareff.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yep. Then I think.
Whoa. You're getting too many episodes ahead.
No, I'm gonna keep going.
Whoa. Okay.
I reckon they might also combine Whole Horse and Emperor and Hangman. We'll get
True.
that because that's crucial Polnareff content.
True. It makes sense.
Yep.
Yep. Also, we read the synopses on the
Yeah, but I
DVDs.
can't remember. Oh yeah, there's but what I'm struggling with is I fully expect. I mean, you can't do Emperor and Hangman without quote unquote killing Avdol, right? Unless,
I mean, you could.
but like that's an iconic moment.
Okay.
I would be surprised if they didn't do that, but I would also be surprised if they did Judgment, the genie that brings him back,
Wouldn't it be so funny if Avdol
just dies.
dies and then comes back the same episode
Yeah.
as like oh no, I just faked my death?
I'd be into it.
That would be amazing.
So I reckon they'll probably cap off no, they'll keep going. But I reckon they'll probably combine the Empress, the Wart,
Yep.
and Enya, Justice.
Wait, which one's Justice?
Enya,
Enya.
Fog,
Sexy,
zombies.
Sexy fortune teller.
Yeah, because
Ooh.
if she's like a sexy lady in this one, then she'll fill the same archetype that
Electromagnetism lady.
No. That High Priestess. No, not High Priestess. Empress did.
Which one was Empress?
Wart on Joseph's arm.
Okay, gotcha. How is sexy seductress lady gonna fill the same?
Because the stand user of that Wart was just like a cute babe that Polnareff was crushing on.
Was it?
Yeah, she was hanging out with Whole Horse, and Whole Horse was like, I've got to leave you now, baby. And she was like, I love you. And then she traveled with them for a while, and Polnareff was like, that Whole Horse is no good. You should hang out with me.
Classic. Yep, I can believe that.
And then they will fight Justice.
Okay.
And that brings the Whole Horse back around.
Yep.
And I reckon that's probably where we wrap up pre-Egypt stuff.
Okay.
That'd be like 7 episodes, right?
Wait, are there 7 eps?
I think 7 or 8.
Yeah, because then it goes 8 to 13. Ooh. Yeah, I could believe that. I can't remember enough to tell you
Okay.
which is which. So I'm going to be like, I reckon next time we'll probably get Polnareff. And that's all I know. That's all I know, Liam. That's all I
Kakyoin.
know. Sorry. Kakyoin. Yakitori, Kakyoin.
No.
Takoyaki, Kakyoin.
So we're going to do one more of these for now. We're going to do Hierophant Green.
And then what?
Then we'll move on
What?
to another Mafia anime.
We only did 2?
Yeah, that's what we said.
Oh, man. Yeah, right, fair enough. And then we move on to...
Now, plenty of forewarning for this, and we've talked about doing this a few times through the off-season, but have not pulled the trigger. But for the duration of Bacciano, we will be doing fortnightly episodes. But we will also be doing 2 eps at once. So it balances out in terms of getting through the show.
Double the content, half the time.
Yeah, because we got to have some work-life balance, you know? It's the off-season, baby.
Where is season 6? Sorry, part 6. Where's part 6?
Well, let me just check that Twitter account I follow that gives daily updates on whether or not it's been announced.
Ooh, has it been announced yet?
Not last time I looked.
When was that? Like an hour ago?
Yesterday.
But it's been a whole day since then.
Day 376. Stone Ocean is not confirmed.
Fuck my life! What are you doing, Crunchyroll?
It's not Crunchyroll.
What are you doing, David Productions?
Well, there is a pandemic going on.
There's a pandemic going on. Where's my media that I want people to work on when they should be keeping safe and isolated?
I also just want to point out that yesterday, this person tweeted just the word Jorce, and then follow up, Jotaro horse.
Okay. What? Jotaro horse.
Jorce.
Jorce. Tell me, Jotaro, what is your spirit animal?
Jorce.
A Jorce. What is that?
Jotaro
It's me,
horse.
but a horse. You mean like a centaur? No. A
Jotaro
Jotaro horse.
And until next time,
To be continued.